Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Monday, the 27th of October. Reading through the second book of Kings with McShane, we read chapter 8, continuing the story of Elisha. At a certain point, he'd gone to stay in Shunem with a well-to-do woman that lived there, who provided a room and a bed for him and cared for his needs. But she was childless. Elisha clearly prayed to God, and she ended up conceiving and having a son. The son at a certain point had died, and Elisha, through prayer, had brought him back to life. Elisha then warned this woman that there would be 7 years of famine, so she moved off to the land of the Philistines and stayed there. Picking the story up at verse 3. At the end of the 7 years, she came back from the land of the Philistines and went to appeal to the king for her house and land. The king was talking to Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, and had said, "Tell me about all the great things Elisha has done." Just as Gehazi was telling the king how Elisha had restored the dead to life, the woman whose son Elisha had brought back to life came to appeal to the king for her house and land. Gehazi said, "This is the woman, my lord the king, and this is her son, whom Elisha restored to life." The king asked the woman about it, and she told him. And he then gave her a special representative to look after her affairs. But as I read that, I thought, Gehazi wasn't the man of God. He was the man of God's servant. The king wasn't praying. The woman hadn't been fasting. It was a plain, ordinary, practical, everyday occurrences. And it just so happens that she arrived as Gehazi was speaking to the king. She could have arrived that afternoon. She could have come the day before, the day after. All sorts of other permutations could have happened, but at just the right time, she arrived, and therefore was able to support what Gehazi was saying and deepen the king's faith. But at the same time, she was looked after as well, and the king gave her a special representative to sort her problems out. And I thought, that's how God works. He doesn't just work when we're praying. He doesn't just work when we're about religious business. He's overseeing and walking with us through our lives day by day. And as we open our eyes and look, we see all sorts of coincidences like this happening. Things we hadn't thought of or planned or prepared or prayed for just happen because God is in control. So I pray that that would be a great encouragement, that we would see these little coincidences, some big, some small and almost insignificant, where God works through our circumstances. And as we do that, we're encouraged when things don't seem to be going well, to think God's still there, God's still in control, and He's still working His purpose out. So we can trust in Him, even in the hard times. But I pray that, like the woman, He would work for us the right things at the right time, so that we would be blessed. So read the story and take courage and encouragement from it, and know that this is our God. Be blessed.